There's not much time. You got to be miles away from here before dawn. Where is she? Follow that North Star. If there are no stars, just follow the river. Listen for them. Fear is your enemy. Whoa, easy now.
I'm gonna be free or die.
Favorite scene in the movie was when Harriet was crossing into Pennsylvania. I thought that sky, it was just so beautiful.
Okay, so that was the best day. I mean, there were many good days, but that day was magical.
Yeah.
It was absolutely magical. And one of the things was, you get to a certain point in a movie, and the crew, everybody in the cast and crew, uniquely, in my experience, knew why they were there every day. Like, it's like we're doing it for Harriet. We were like, everybody was down for Harriet. However, it gets to a point in a movie where, you know, especially hard movies, it's hard, you're cranky. So we woke up that day and it was pouring. Everybody's just cranky. It's harder to get stuff done. It's just yeah. She had 4 changes. She doesn't like to. Cynthia didn't like to go back and forth between Minty and Harriet. Harriet has a big character arc, and Minty's almost different than Harriet. And so besides costume and hair not liking it, just because it's a big change. So she had like 4 changes that day, and kind of went back and forth. It's getting later and later, so the line producer is cranky, the first AD is cranky, hair and makeup's cranky, Cynthia's cranky, everybody's super cranky, and it's raining, and at a certain point, I was advised, you know, you're never going to get that. But of course, I'm a director, so I've had a plan of where I need to be on this for this particular scene, and I've scouted it, and it's like, we can't even. They're like just abandoned. We can't even get the trucks up there. It's so muddy. We have to like schlep on foot, you know. But fortunately, we left the crane up there. You know, we'd left certain pieces of equipment up there, and so we slog up to the top of the hill. I'm rushing. I'm begging hair and makeup to get Cynthia through the works. Cynthia's kind of like, fuck it, I'm coming right now. She's like, even faster.
And she has to go up on her foot.
We all have to get up there, and now I'm like, oh, please, God, have the crane built. Like, you guys build the crane before she gets here, because if she has to wait for us, and I've rushed her, you know, and everybody's just working at maximum capacity.
Right. Yeah.
And the sky's black. You know, my first AD's going, Casey, look at the sky. I'm saying, see that little blue patch? Right? The horizon. Anyway, she comes up. The moment the crane is built, the moment we're ready, the sky parts, and that sun comes through. That sun comes through. And we did one take.
And I understood, is there a rainbow that formed?
Double rainbow behind us.
Double rainbow, wow.
And the whole, I went into the DP's tent, you know, to watch on the really good monitor.
Yes.
And as the sun flares, he giggled. He kind of goes, and we walk out, and the entire crew had burst into tears.
Yeah, I bet.
And they all got their cameras, and they're shooting the sky, they're shooting the rainbow, and it was, so that was a great day, because it kind of like, everybody got behind again. It's like, remember why we're here? Yeah, you know. So that was a really great day. But we had a lot of great days.
The movie was very. It was way less gruesome or graphic than I expected compared to other slave narratives that I've seen in the past. Was that intentional?
Yeah, I mean, part of it was, I've seen those movies, I've loved those movies, you know, it's been done.
Yeah.
And it's been done very beautifully and effectively, and not to diminish that at all. What I was trying to talk about was, it's funny when I hear that it's not brutal, because I think it's very brutal, but it's brutal to me. A mother making a decision, am I going to run or stay with my children who've been taken away and hidden from me? That's brutal to me. A man who leaves his wife shortly after childbirth because he's going to be sold or he's got to run, that's brutal. To me, seeing your sisters taken away, screaming, that's brutal. So I wanted to talk about that type of brutality. Separation of families and the decimation of African American families through slavery and the choices that people had to make, these horrible, horrible choices.
I think that was one of the most powerful things about the film was similar to the TV show that got canceled, Underground, where you saw the slaves fighting back, and that was in seeing the Philadelphia portion of resistance and Janelle Monáe's character and Leslie Odom Jr. That was very remarkable, and I think it made it tolerable for a younger generation, because I think that part of the reason that Underground it was successful, but part of the reason that it got canceled was that a lot of younger people don't really associate with the slavery narratives. And I'm 46, so I kind of came up at a time where Roots was the miniseries of the 70s, and in the 80s we were still watching these movies, but a lot of younger people aren't making those connections.
Well, they need to, first of all, because we need to be connected to history, because we need to watch out for it so it doesn't come back.
Well, I think this film does a very good job
Thank you.
Connecting them to that portion of the past. Jamie Foxx said the Django Unchained that he kept Fred Hammond's No Weapon on rotation.
He said what?
He had Fred Hammond's No Weapon Formed Against Me on rotation to kind of keep the mood solid and to keep that warrior spirit on the set. Was there anything that you did in particular, or maybe a cast member that you're aware of that did similar to keep spirits high and keep people motivated in the warrior spirit?
I made everybody listen to Cinnamon. Cinnamon, there's something about Cinnamon that it had the movement and the soul and the triumph. And to me, Cinnamon was what I wanted the movie to feel like.
Wait, I'm gonna ask really quickly. My site is called Music Movies Thoughts, so have the Harriet biopic. If you could make a biopic about any entertainer, living or dead, who would it be? Why?
There's something about LeAnne Lindsey that's very interesting to me. I think she's a very interesting story. Many things happened. And found her true love with a white man. And was kind of she was such a token in these films that they would basically she said she would be pinned to a wall like a butterfly singing, and we couldn't interact with the other characters. In the South they had to cut her roles out, made her very bitter, but anyway she ends up befriending Paul Robeson. He's a communist. She ends up getting blacklisted. It's just a really, really, really interesting story, so I like that story. But I think there are a lot, and one just leads to the other, and it's and then there's Paul Robeson. He's a really interesting story. God, I don't know. I mean, there's so many. That's a good one. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ready?